And we're live. It's Sunday. It's Coding with Fire. I'm EJ.
And I'm Ian.
And tonight we're gonna. I think it's October now. It's almost election time. So I think tonight is all about preparing for elections.
Yep, yep. We called it mise-en-place, right? Which is the French word for getting your cooking station in order, right? Kind of like having things clean and where you need, having the right stuff where you need it. So we're going to be looking at data around the election. Hey, Shirley. I see
Hey,
Shirley in the chat.
what's up, party people?
And yeah,
Yeah, how do you
blue
say that?
radon.
That's a good read of that. Blue radon. Do you think?
Yeah, that's my guess.
I would love
Mm,
pronunciation keys
Yeah.
with usernames.
Well, however it's pronounced, we're happy to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you here and everyone else
Yeah,
tuned in.
thanks for hanging
So,
out. Yeah, so I think
yeah,
so. What's the plan tonight? You have some cool ingredients that you've gathered. I have like some cool techniques that I want to use with your ingredients. So what are we cooking with tonight?
yeah. So basically, something I've been working on the last couple of days is, um, well, it's this notebook. It's a collection of data sets, and everything in here is based on counties, right? Like I feel um, that I think counties are a great visualization like zoom level to deal with because a lot of data sources, a lot of like the Census Bureau and the Bureau of Labor Statistics and a lot of national reporting is happening at the county level. Um, and there's 3,000 counties, maybe 300, 3,200 or something
Three
counties, right?
thousand
So it's,
odd counties. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Which is like a manageable number when you're visualizing the browser, which is kind of what's nice about it, right? It's like, and so once you're working with that slice of the US, you can you can see much more than you can see if you were to aggregate at the state level, right? You can see rural and urban patterns. Um, Things really can be like much more nuanced, but at the same time, it's not too zoomed in where it's really overwhelming and or like if it's too focused on cities or that kind of thing, right? Like,
it's also
you
like
know,
like an atomic unit of how people talk about elections, right? Is like that's it.
yes,
I think people sort of I think state is probably too broad, both in terms of visualization and also for like understanding that amount of people. But I think that like a county, you can sort of imagine the boundaries of your county and roughly like what that type of you know area means. And then, people obviously want, like, if you could get down tighter, like precincts and zip codes and all these things, but a lot of data sources don't give you data in that for, or like in that granularity, right? So like county is both like one of the most useful and also the most widely used. Like you can get a lot of different data by county, right?
absolutely. And that's, I was kind of aware of that, so I figured I would set out to pull that data in one place in a way that's easy to start from for a lot, for us and for other people who make visualizations, right in the same sort of universe of browser D3. I mean, this stuff will also work with other tools like, so you're excited about showing me a tool that I haven't used or even seen, but you say it's like an excellent
Yeah, I want
addition
to
to your
see
work.
if we can. Well, so I think the whole theme tonight is basically just trying to get, like you said, mise-en-place of like, all right, I think for the next month we're going to be doing a whole bunch of different types of of elections visualizations, and to do that, you always need your carrots, your celery, and your onion, whatever. You know what I mean? You always need your counties, your historical election data, and your census data. You know what I mean? And a lot of what we're going to do over the course of the month is like pulling from different pieces of these and comparing them. Like that's what I think in my gut. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a little bit of like, how did this county vote in 2016 versus what's the education and income there versus how many people registered to vote versus things like how many post offices are there or how many, you know what I mean? Like all these different things that you can sort of get to sort of understand what that place is like in the context of an election, just to like understand what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, something that you pointed out to me before, which I thought was really interesting, is that like throughout this month, where the stories are may change, right? Like the patterns that go on, like, if something's happening in North Carolina or something's happening in like, some part of some state or like counties that are like this, we're seeing this kind of thing. We don't know ahead of time what that story will be, but we know that they're going to happen at that more local level, or like these patterns that are, slices across rural counties in the Midwest or something
Totally.
is something that's very different from, your Miami-Dade County or something.
Well, it's been
So,
really interesting. Like even just in like over in the past few months in my preliminary analysis of this stuff of like Eve's data and historical voting data, I did some basic like sorting and filtering, and like I just sort of sorted by which counties had had the most removed, and one of the like top ones that popped out is Harris County, Texas. And that's been in the news. Like it was in the news the day before yesterday because it's one of the biggest counties in Texas, and they are meant to have 13 to 17 drop off points for people who are like dropping off their mail-in ballot. And the I believe the Texas governor made it so that every county can only have one drop off place. And so like I didn't. I was looking at that county anyway for an entirely different reason, but now that it was on my radar, you like see it pop up once you know to look for it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, we got a little bit of chat going on in terms of, I guess, supporting our focus on counties,
Yeah,
saying,
totally. Blue radio,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Precincts are very far in to most people. I agree with that. Like, I don't think you could ask anybody. I agree. I don't know if you could ask anybody to like tell you where their county ended. I guess for me, it's sort of like I know it's sort of like the bridge, and then if you drive up 52 a little bit, you know what I mean? Like it ends at some point up there. But
but you know what county you're in,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. I
Right?
have
It's
no
like,
idea what precinct I'm in.
right. That's I think a big, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I believe precincts vary and change by election. A lot of it depends. I think that has also to do with like the congressional redistricting. Like when House districts rearrange, that's when precincts will rearrange. So like if other things are changing, it has a ripple effect downward, and we've had to you have to deal with that. I guess counties in North Dakota and stuff changed. That's a super enormous headache that makes everybody's lives more difficult. I am of the opinion it's not the worst, unless I don't know. If you're comparing things year over year, it's not the worst thing to show an old county's data in a new county's shape. Most of the time, you're not splitting counties or doing super radical things with them. Normally, you're pushing their boundaries a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that, you know, there's all like whenever you do actually sit down to visualize something as complex as like nationwide statistics, right? Like there's always going to be weirdness or edge cases you have to concern yourself with, but like the fact that there's so few with counties and that we still like when we look at this stuff, I think, um, and we're trying to look at 20 because there's a lot of data that's we can get for 2018, 2016, 2014, and there's some important shifts and changes that happen in those times that like by and large we'll be able to look at that in a clear way over those time periods. And I think this might be a good time to shout out Shirley,
yep,
right?
for
um,
sure,
so
for surely.
uh, yeah, Shirley Wu, right? And probably a lot of people tuned in are because she just
Yeah,
told people to tune in. But in case there's one person that doesn't know, she's doing some awesome streams. I believe Wednesdays and Fridays, where she live streams her data viz process and is spending this month tackling election related data and like doing a project. And we're hoping to help by, like we talked about, we're mise-en-placing this data. A good hope is that this will then be stuff that she can pick up and cook with on her stream.
well, and not just her, right? Like anybody, you know what I mean? Like the idea would be that anyone, and I think a lot of us really care about what happens during this election. You know what I mean? But we sort of care in different ways. And I think like we have talked about this, like the whole power of data visualization. I think is like at least the sometimes naive goal is if you show people the world really clearly, like there is the potential to make it better. You know what I mean? If people like can see what's
Right.
going on or understand the issues more clearly, then like that's the whole goal of this thing. So the more people that are doing that in their own county or through their own perspective of the issue or whatever, I think that's really important. So making that easy is a thing that seems valuable and useful to me.
Absolutely. But of course, Shirley's going to make it look good.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
No,
the two,
it's always good to have the best working on it.
yeah, yeah. And she put in the chat the time. So Wednesdays, Fridays at 10:30
Early
a.m.
bird. I
P.M.
couldn't do the
Pacific.
early stream. That's
Yeah. Well,
intense.
luckily now that we're on the East Coast, that's afternoon for us. So, um, yeah. All right. So,
Yeah, so
yeah, I
show me
mean,
what you're doing with these counties.
yeah. All right. Let me show you what's going on. So basically, this is an observable notebook. I pasted it in the chat. Actually, let me just paste it again because we talked about a bunch of stuff. Um, and I got this little visual table of contents. So if you click on any of these, it will, jump you to that one. And part of there's a couple ways I can see people using this. If you're already doing stuff in observable, one of the easier ways would be to import. It's like this will give you this data set, which in this case is like a GeoJSON, right? That we use that's the county boundaries, right? Like that's probably going to be an essential part of any map that you make will
Right.
be starting with this. And I mean, in this notebook, the other thing, I don't have these cells shown, but like the code to visualize each of these little examples is here. So part of what I'm imagining, I mean, this goes back to like GIS mapping software. It's almost always layers, right? Like this is kind of like your each stall in our little, Phipps market.
Totally. Well, it's your little menu of
it,
like, here's all the stuff that we got
yeah,
going on, right? Like you can jump in and see what you want. And it's easy. I see you've made it like easy just to pull in exactly what you want into another notebook.
right. And when you look at too how like this is the code to render these circles in this particular way, but like the code for the county boundaries is also here, and this is like the specific line to draw the boundaries. You could just copy paste those two and put them together and like have a D3 map with those things.
Yeah. So,
Or if you're not even using, yeah,
do you have
huh?
election data in here? I was just scrolling through.
Well, it's on my to do. I just scrolled down. I have a bunch of stuff. I think what I can show that would be really interesting is the census API data I was able to pull in. This took me a good bit of time, and I learned some stuff, and so I definitely want to look at that closer. But it's not in here. You and Shirley actually have collaborated on a notebook that pulls together the Eves data. And I don't know if maybe you want to bring that up or bring up some
Well, I think
Eves or something to show.
we can sort of. I want to take another approach at that, which is I want to try taking the census data and the election data and the Eves data, the parts that we think are interesting, combine them into a data set, like basically use data set. This is a part I haven't used data set for, so I've always used it locally. Like we used it like a few streams ago to like query against Eves, I think, where we would do like select where X metric is more than this or whatever. But there's a whole other side of it that we've never used before, where you can then publish it. Like you can do the sort of like push button to publish to Heroku, and then I'm trying to imagine a world where our observable notebooks, they could even write their own queries in the URLs to like get different slices and dices of all the ingredients that we know we're going to need, and then it should make the observable notebooks a little more performant as well, because then you're not pulling in all the data and processing it on the client side. You know what I mean? Like you can
Right,
get just
right.
what you care about and visualize that, which should be more. I mean, it's just, for me, that feels like you can do more things because it'll be more performant. You know what I mean? Like you won't hesitate to do more crazy thing where you're pulling in from three different data sources, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great combination because like this, I was trying to get data into like a friendly format for, figure out some level of processing, but then they all do end up either as like a list, an array. Let me find an example, like the demographic data for 2018. It's an array of counties, and then it has all the fields, right? And or if we have post offices by county, right, we can see the county IDs, and you can look up all the post offices. So it's like if yeah, if you decided you want to use a bunch of these together, you could do it in the client side and combine them or deal with that. Or like you're saying, if we can pull them all into Dataset, it's like made to let you like mix and match what you want, right?
That's what I'm.
Yeah,
Unless
and
is there any?
Shirley
Oh,
approves.
oh yeah, Shirley likes it. Is there any way to like do like a query, like I just described in the observable way, like the way you do like import post offices by county? Could you do import post offices by county where X is something?
Well, the way I would imagine doing it, I actually started prototyping a notebook earlier today because I was messing with these census fields. And so this crazy graphic is like every field is one thing, right? It's parallel coordinates. So like each of the green lines is a county going top to bottom.
Are
So
you
if we
showing
look
it?
at left, is it not showing?
No, I just see the maps.
Oh man, I think that maybe my screen has been frozen
Oh
for.
no.
Let me reshare my screen.
Cool.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there we go. Now I see lines in Skype, and we see lines now. Great, excellent. So back to what you were saying.
nice. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. So, um, there's two kinds of census data that I pulled in so far. One is this demographic data, so you can see like male, female, total population, breakdowns by race. And then there's also more economic, like per capita income broken down by race, or the, Gini index of income
Wait, so
inequality
what's every horizontal line? Like
is a county.
that's a
So
county.
let me filter on like, I don't know, counties with high numbers of two or more races, or high populations. So like when I filter that, this selection is like, well, what do you know? A lot of California. Um, and so these are each
Sorry, and
counties, right?
also
And
Harris County, Texas. Close that one. You see here, that's the one.
whoa,
I keep telling you, it keeps popping up. Once you start looking for it and thinking about it,
is it big? It's got 4 million people in it. So yeah, it's like a big
it's an
county, right?
important. It's like an important American county.
So I guess like this isn't necessarily an observable way, but maybe kind of like a D3 observable way is that like you could make visualizations that filter down to some subset of counties, and then you can take this thing, and then I could render a map based on those 12. So like, I could highlight them on the map, or I could
Mm.
do something else, show them in a table. I have stuff to like give pretty like these nicer names of the fields for the census, for example. So that would be my answer to querying, but I think there is like it tends to be, this is pretty slow. I mean, it's taxing, I guess, the way it's not, just to process those 3,000 counties and do it. So I do agree that like, you know, for exploring and productionizing as well, like if we had an API that was like tuned to exactly the kind of stuff we want, um, then yeah, that would be great. So
So Blue Radon was wondering how big Harris County is geographically, like what the size of it is. Is that a thing that we can answer?
well,
Does it? Do we have?
yeah,
Does it come in?
let me let me just do this because I should just be able to like visualize this selection. Um, so I'm going to say, I'm going to just fill in this D3, put it at the bottom.
Wait, how did you have Sankey's without D3?
Oh, I imported those from another notebook,
Oh.
like from the D3 example. So that, I mean, that's a nice thing too. It's like, yeah, once the visualizations already exist, you can do that. So we need county shapes as well. I think we're already importing um, the demographics data, but I'm also going to grab county shapes. All right, so county shapes, there we go. So county shapes, but we don't really want county shapes. We want to, our selection, which was like this, had Harris County. What I want to do is, I guess I can check if um, the fill, I'll fill it if it has if the county matches one of the
Oh, so
selection,
you'll make
right?
it red if it's Harris County?
Yeah, yeah. Um, red is fine. So basically,
Okay.
D dot, I believe I need to do this. So one way I check this, so county shapes is going to be a feature collection. Each of these, yeah,
Perfect.
the ID is the FIPS code. So, right, like FIPS, I don't even know what it stands for, but it's the unique
Well,
code
you
of,
could highlight all Harris counties in the United States briefly if you did d dot properties dot name equal Harris.
um, yes, D dot properties dot name. All right, you want to see all the high?
Yeah. So one time I was trying to make a map of Kentucky and I forgot to limit my query to Kentucky and I accidentally made a map of every county in the US that had a county with the same name as a county in Kentucky, if that makes sense. And they
Mm-hmm.
all had the values of the county in Kentucky. I'll have to put that in the chat.
I need to do this a slightly differently. Why are you being?
All right, I'm just gonna Google Harris County and maybe I can get my answer quicker than you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is.
It's
I did some. I think I drew
1,700
3,000
miles.
U.S. maps.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah,
Wait, you drew a map per county?
I drew like for each of the maps. I told it to draw the whole country. I think instead of now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to draw it per thing.
That'll make
It's
observable
still being
upset.
really slow. It's not. It's not happy. The final thing I can do is switch this to canvas. Um, I really think that parallel coordinates is pushing it too hard. But a nice thing is that like I could go into safe
So I
mode.
have a question for you. When you do in your census examples, are you just pulling directly from the census API or did you download data and like re-upload it?
Um, I can show you. So basically there's I actually make the API call in the notebook. Here, this notebook. Um, Let me show you here. So I make the API call somewhere down here, demographics API. But like what I was changing it to the previous years, and then this gives you back this like array thing, but you can just download the cell value as a CSV,
Okay.
and then I upload it back. Um, so each of these is like a cached, it's basically a cached version of that.
Oh, interesting.
And then I process them. I do like a little bit of processing to get it to be this one object that you can import over here.
And so
Um,
selected fields is just you went through and sort of picked out the census metrics that you think are interesting, basically.
exactly. Yeah, I wanted to start somewhere, right? Like, and then so you could easily add or remove these and like
Totally.
come up with a different cache of it, I guess.
So I'm
Yeah, I
thinking
mean,
I want to take those and put those in my data set database. I think I want multiple tables as well. As long as I'm putting something in Heroku, I might as well have like three tables, one for census by county, and then we can. I think we did that last time, right? We joined across tables or queried across tables.
I remember BigQuery stuff. Did we do that
Oh
with data
right,
set?
did we do that in Dataset? I don't know. I think it works similarly though.
Um,
I just want to.
yeah,
I'm just gonna
I
give it a try. So, do you think it's? Can I? Hey, Ian, can I try and put some data into a data set, and then we can try and pull it into
just
observable? Or am I jumping the
just go
gun?
for it.
Is it time to
Go for
shine?
it. Yeah.
All right,
I think we just might as well just jump go at it. Yeah.
all right. Then I'm gonna need a terminal.
Yeah, because any of the if you like the data set you see here or the file, you can just download the CSV and then import it into data set, right? Like
Yeah, exactly. And then
that
just
part should be
republish. I guess I imagine something like that. All right, so I'm gonna put.
oh and I just want to say Blue Radon point out the Census API is pretty well documented. I would agree. There's actually a bunch more stuff that I haven't had a chance to dig into, but looks really interesting that I think be really cool. So figuring this out and like having a good workflow around it, I think will be a key aspect no matter what we do, what we end up getting into.
Okay, so all right, I can download the CSV directly from your notebook, right? Like if I
Yep.
go to like what you just showed me. All right, so I have selected fields, demographic data 2018. I can just do download CSV.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, and now I have it. So let me go to the dataset docs and just totally make sure I remember how to do this. Um, Dataset is by Simon Wilson. I love it. I think it's the future of like data analysis, and it does. I don't know. Do you remember back in the day? What was that old Google tool where you could put a spreadsheet in and it could do all sorts of stuff for you? Do you remember what I'm talking about? I'm totally blanking on what the name was. Um, anyway, I think it's going to change how like the like how people publish and analyze data. It makes it really easy to get a SQLite. Oh, to Simon, yes, I do. So this is Dataset. So I'm just gonna download a CSV and then convert it into a SQLite database. I'm pretty sure there's a little tool they provide to make that easy. Let me look. I think it's something like dataset, CSV, SQLite. Yes, CSV is the SQLite. Great. So I'm gonna do that. CSV is just SQLite, demographics data 2018, and we'll we'll do elections data 2020.db. Cool, and it converted it. So now I can run dataset elections.db. And then you just have like a little dataset thing running on your local computer, um, which makes it super easy. Like you can see all the different values, and then you can say you can write little SQL queries, or it has tools for you. So like if I knew what the fuck any of this meant, I could say if B19301A,
So there's two
B19301E.
ways we can look at that. There is um, in my notebook. Well, I mean, I wrote comments next to the things, but there's also these nice keys, which is sort of like, or you can even. I think there's demographic keys.
Well, what if I want to do something weird? I just want to sort the counties by the total mail. which I
Yeah,
guess like see like which county
that's
in the U.S. has the most men. I guess is that an option?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the
I guess
least is in. Oh, you know the second least is Loving County, Texas, and Harris County, Cook County, Los Angeles County, Maricopa. These are the largest counties in the U.S.
oh can nice Harris shows up again. I got my thing to work with Canvas. Can I show that real quick?
You're most definitely.
I just want to show the Harris. There are two Harrises. I
Enhance.
believe this is the big one that we want, and there's like a little one here. Well, one thing I've found is that if you just make the strokes much less bold, it helps. But the other thing we could do is, if instead of filling if the thing was Harris, I want to do if d dot property or d dot id. I believe it was selection demo. I want the. Let me look at the. Sorry.
Yeah, you want the FIPS code of Harris County, huh?
Yeah, so I did this. I filtered like this. And so out of each of these, there's a state and a county. And so they don't store them together
So
as a
that's
FIPS code.
that's
So
half
you can
half a FIPS
just like
code.
add them. Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's informative in terms of how FIPS code works.
Should we talk about FIPS code? If anybody in the chat cares about FIPS codes, we can talk about them more. But I don't feel predisposed to do that.
Yeah. It's basically s.state plus s.county.
I feel like I wrote about FIPS codes in my blog post about elections.
Nice. Yeah, you put together like a whole what we know about elections, right?
Yep. Well, things I've learned.
All right. So this is kind of cool because this should be a highlight of whatever is selected. Let me move this up. So these are places where there is a large amount of
Oh, sick! Oh, you made them.
counties with population.
You made the map responsive to the parallel coordinates.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So the whole thing's gonna be red but if we do
That's valid.
high,
I should
hide
have made it green, bro. Why'd you listen to my terrible feedback to make it red? It should be green to match the other one. Whoever thought of this red nonsense is an idiot.
nice.
There you go. Now it makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, let me I can go ahead and share this in the chat too. But I think this is interesting because like basically building this map, but where it's visualizing the results of a query would be a great, that's sort of like something I'm imagining that we want to do really quickly.
Right. So back to I want to publish an API. I think I can do it in 25
Yeah.
more seconds. So
Oh, sick.
now that I have it running on my local, I'm pretty sure that I can just run some magic command. Oh shit, I might have to set up my Heroku. We'll see what happens. I might be able to run a magic command to just publish it to Heroku. Dataset publish to Heroku. All right, here we go. So let's see. We want to do dataset publish Heroku elections data 2020.db. Oh boy, I have to install Heroku CLI. All right, so back to what you were doing.
Maybe install it real quick while I'm
Yeah, exactly. It'll take me
scroll about around some stuff.
un segundo. Well, so let's talk about
We can
what it might look
basketball
like. We'll talk about how to pull in an API, like once I get it working on Heroku. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I think, step one, I'm going to make a new notebook and we'll just go from from 0. And so I'll call it counties with dataset, because we're going to try to get counties on dataset. I mean, really, what I'm imagining is going to be like, I haven't used dataset before, is that we'll do something, oops. We'll basically say like d3.json, and it will be, query URL, or we'll say, like selection is that, and then we're going to build this query URL, and that's going to be https blah blah blah
Yeah,
Heroku
exactly. And I can even
blah blah blah
give you a
slash.
sample URL of what a query URL might look like. Let me just get a version running on localhost again. I'll like make one with the web interface and then send you the URL it makes.
That would be excellent. And this is really cool though, because actually this reminds me of what I did at work at my last job, like for the better part of like 2 years, was essentially like have the front end compose the queries against well-made backends, like SQL tables that were like, they had exactly what you needed in them, um, and and a lot of the ways that you could like, well, write SQL against. So, but then I would be able to dynamically make interfaces pretty easily that would let you, like drop downs and click on data viz and stuff like that, that would filter down and say like, okay, do the query. When you get that data back, all these charts will be driven by that data. I imagine I did that with components. We could do that with cells and observable. So
Oh,
we have our
I think
tables.
I'm ready.
Probably okay.
I'm ready to press the button. If it doesn't work again, then I'll do it quietly and won't make such a big deal of it. But I'm pretty excited that it should be like relatively quick. Like if I had been smart and installed this before I tried to publish it, probably would have been like magic.
I mean, but hey, this is like, we're streaming. This is real,
This is live,
real life, right?
unedited, uncut.
This is
Uh-oh.
what it's
Yeah,
like.
truth. Data set's already taken. Creating. So why does it want to name it that? Dataset publish Heroku. Okay, so I have to figure out why it's trying to name it dataset, which is taken, because obviously that's what it's. Oh, you can just you specify a name by saying N, and we'll call it CWF election data. All right, maybe this will work better, and we'll get an API that we can use. It looks like it's installing. So I forgot to pay my Heroku bill to the extent that they deleted my Heroku account. But I made a new one. I'm fresh again, so it's like as if I had never used Heroku before.
But we'll totally accept Heroku sponsorship if they
Oh
want.
yeah! Oh my God! If Heroku wants to throw some money behind the fact that I use their excellent product all the time, that would be great.
One day.
One day.
So yeah. All right. So while that's spinning up, I mean, basically, I'm assuming there's gonna
What are you
be
talking about
they can
spinning
have
up? It's spun up, baby. We're live. Let me give you a URL.
Oh shit, man! This is like
Yeah, don't fuck with me.
blowing my mind. I'm not
While
used to
it's
things
spinning
happening this
up,
fast.
this guy. Come
Yeah,
on now.
I'm used to things actually spinning up. Like it doesn't have to spin at all. Like
No,
what the hell?
no, we're not using the service of an enormous slow corporation. We are using Heroku.
That's what's up.
So I think if you swap in that base URL for that localhost URL I gave you, then you can, like, it should be able to do a query against that county data.
It's still elections. Oops, that's weird. It didn't. Let me copy this URL.
Or actually, I can probably give you a better sample, like a real sample URL from this interface. Is less than.
Well, I got an unexpected token, but yeah. Oh, okay, I guess you give me a real.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm gonna give you a real URL. I'll just drop it in the chat. That sorry, I'll give you an even better real URL that gives you back JSON. Sorry about all of the confusion. But the most recent one, that one, perfect.
Nice. Yeah, this is exactly what we'll need to. Okay, database, table, bunch of stuff, rows.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff, huh?
Yeah, columns, query.
Oh, wait. You can change the kind of data you get back, I guess.
Where it would give me like an array of objects.
You're like, where it like gives me data that makes sense. I'm working on that. Hold on. Yeah, where it's like, yeah. It's an array of, yeah, sorry. So now the even most recentest URL, that is the good one.
Awesome. Yeah, this is like, I mean, it's literally exact. Wait, why don't yeah, let me just do this, that same map. I'll just copy over because like we have a selection.
So much fun, yes.
So I'm gonna just bring this code over here, and then we'll like make it. I'm just gonna say width and height.
So while you do that, I'm going to download the Eves data and put that into Datasette also so we can query that. And
Nice.
historical elections data too would be handy.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say selection, and the fields these have. I think it. Oh, it has state and county as numbers. I did this. You do. Oops.
2016? Oops. You ever accidentally download the wrong Eves? Where is the historical elections data coming from? I'm so glad that you asked. That was going to be a whole thing I was going to talk about. So MIT Elections is in my opinion, the best like free open source source of elections data, and they have like by county, MIT election data by county. 2018. I'm not getting the one that I want. Here we go. Yeah, so you can say I want federal elections by county or whatever it is. Let's see all of the by county data sets that they have. Yeah, so you have county presidential election returns 2016. I will grab that. That is exactly what I want. And then you go to the Harvard Dataverse and download their data. And we would like it in a CSV, please.
Start.
Okay.
Just kind of.
So I got county. Wait, where's my Eves data? Did I not download that? Oh, here it is. I have to save it.
Look, I got a map.
Did you?
Oh crap. Yeah.
Oh, sick, dude. That was quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same code that we did before. I just imported our county shapes and copied that code. And since this selection gives us 3 counties, I guess it's supposed to be highlighting Hawaii.
It might be the
County.
tiniest county in Hawaii because I'm picking places with small populations, so I bet it's tiny.
Oh,
Um,
maybe it picks some big population.
okay, well, that was going to be the next thing I was going to ask you for is do you want to break apart this query and make a little query builder where you can select, you know what I mean? Like make a little observable query builder
Yeah,
situation.
all right. We're just like chugging right along. I kind of
Blah, blah, blah.
thought all this stuff would take longer to do. Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna put this into the chat too, in case anyone wants to play with it.
Cool, and I'm going to keep converting CSVs to SQLite database. Well, wait, I think I can do with multiple. All right, CSVs to SQLite, and then I'll just do every CSV in here.
Nice. You got the Eves CSVs from your guys' notebook too? The one that it's like surely has Eve's data from
I wasn't sure
spreadsheets.
what of that. I wasn't sure what of that she was going to use on her stream, so I didn't want to like reuse any of it. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to take like a data set approach to it, and then maybe that could be reused. Or I mean, it definitely is overlapping in the Venn diagram.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I guess let's see what, yeah, we're just throwing all this stuff in, looking at it, and then we can compare and contrast what we want to like bring in or out, I guess you could say.
Well, so I'm just now update. Oh shit! I'm updating our. I'm trying to update our Heroku thing with the three CSVs, the three tables. So we have Eves, Census, and historical president by county that we can then query from observable, which would be the dopeness, in my opinion.
And so I pulled the sort so we can sort by a certain field.
Okay.
And then there's also this ability to like say we want to give a range for a field.
Well, you could say, well, it's LT is less than.
Mm-hmm.
You could also do LT or GT, right, for less than or greater than a certain value.
So I guess there's like a special field that we're going to want to do something to because we could choose from these other fields. And I can turn these into drop downs really quickly, which will be nice to do.
It's also possible I just broke your URL because I changed it up to have
Yeah,
three data
said,
sources.
Not found.
It's fine. This is a great excuse to try a different source briefly. Does that make sense? Or it's going to be shaped differently, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, so you can't have multiple tables going on at once?
No, I do. So I'll drop it in the chat again. So now I have a data set publish instance on Heroku. Inside of it is three tables. One is County Pres 2000-2016. That's our historical election data. The second is Demographics Data 2018, which is your summarized CSV of just the census fields that we care about. And I also have Eves in there, which is like by county, 10 million columns of different Eves things that are some are interesting and some are not.
I think you just renamed it. So like, thank you for your explanation. There's three things, but the one thing that you had before is still there.
It is, but
Just
it might just
slightly different.
it might just be in a slightly different location. So let me make.
Yeah, so this works now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna want. I'll just take people through this exactly how I experience it. We could just do a select because there's not that many fields. You could have, or it could be autocomplete or something like that. I think there's an autocomplete, auto select. I'll use that. So I'm gonna want auto select, and then there's options.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know about that.
The only thing, yeah, set of inputs is pretty handy. So we want like our sort to be auto select, and then there's options, and I happen to know, like I imported the selected fields, which is like all the fields that are in the census data. So we're gonna want to, right, like
right, make labels
if I
for them,
switch
right?
that, and then this needs to be view of.
Ooh.
Right, so like our URL, so if I choose something else, it will sort it differently, but I guess it doesn't, the field, if I can set value to be selected field 0%. This will be field. So this changes the query, yeah, and that changed the things. This we can say operation. So that could be less than or greater than. So I guess I want to select as well as auto select. I want to figure out how to make these be like the nice names as well in a second. But I'm going to say select options less than, greater than. There's probably like equal as well, right? But that wouldn't make sense. So, whoa, that was fast. I just changed. Less than 30,000 should give me a bunch. No? 300,000. Oh, it's just broken because I didn't do view of. So view of takes like a UI element and then lets you get the value of it. So this isn't returning. It's only returning 100. Is it limited by some? Is there like
it might be. It might be.
I wonder if I can submit. Let me also publish this. But if I say greater than, this should change. Yeah. So this is giving me at least 100 of the counties are greater than 300,000 population.
Like are you sure?
Oh, I'm not sure. Like, if I do, oh, there's Harris is greater than 1.5 million.
Okay, yeah, no, I think I have to send it an extra options command when I publish that lets it. Remember we had this problem last time where it got limited and I had to like enable it to send more.
I feel like I do not remember at all the last time we used Datasette.
Okay.
I could just.
All right then.
So this is kind of cool because it's all new to me again. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Shirley says that the coding in parallel is great, and Blue Radon agrees, and I do too.
I also agree. It takes the pressure off a little bit.
Well, yeah, it definitely takes the pressure off, and then we both can kind of like excel at the things that we're used to doing often. I don't know. This is my favorite kind of like working relationship too. This back and forth iteration, where you're like, oh, let's move this forward. Let's look at it. That gives us a new idea. Let's move that forward. Let's look at it again. You know.
So I'm gonna try and make our max returned rows 4,000 because, as we previously discussed, there are 3,000 odd counties in the United States. So if we wanted to return them all, should we want that, 4,000 seems safe, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm republishing now with that new config. I'll see if that works or not.
All right, so I should just be able to like run this. I wonder if I have to change it a little bit so it's not cached. Oh, no, yeah. While that's spinning up, which you said is not spinning up, I'm gonna get a slider here. See how fast our database is to push that.
Cool, it's repub now, so it should have that config. I wish it told me if it had gotten accepted that configuration or not, but uh-oh. I think I broke it. I'm so sorry. crashed. Why did it crash? All right, maybe that option was terrible. So you're adding a slider in? What are you doing with your slider?
Yeah, I wish this query URL would uh, definitely goes. It's going to cause a lot of queries, so I think I should change this to. This is the time I want it to only change when I let go, but or maybe I should not have it be
Can
such a
can
fine-grained
you
slider.
debounce or throttle with Lodash in your like query thing? So like even if the value changes a bunch, it doesn't requery.
Sort of, it's not. I'm using like sort of an observably slider, and then which is made to kind of like update as it goes. I could either make my own slider, like you can just build an HTML one and listen for like the change
No,
event.
what Shirley said, can you like just throttle the query end of things, not the slider end of things?
No, because right now it's also, well, I guess I could. There's like this D3 JSON call, so I would just this
So
is
you
like
should just
returns a
throttle that.
promise, but this is all also auto updating. So I'd have to like, I mean, how do I
How
throttle?
does any of this work?
I don't know. So, but this should be giving me more counties. Yeah, this is kind of working. Oh, but it's still limited to 100.
I don't think it is limited to 100.
I mean, I'm always getting 100 back when
Okay.
I
Because
request the thing.
that's not like its default limit. Like its default limit is 2,000, I think. No, 1,000.
Can I pass like limit as a query parameter? You know?
Yes, well, you can say limit in the query. Here's what I would say is instead of doing this through that interface, I would open up the Heroku app interface, make the query you want, and then copy it back in and see how their thing made it.
Okay.
And also, I was just thinking about this, but like what you're building right now is in a lot of ways just an interface, like an observable interface to dataset. So anybody else who makes a dataset database and publishes it can then interact with their data using these things you're making. I mean, based on the query, like how Dataset builds its URLs,
Okay, so this got like a
which I think is
bunch of
rad.
options. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because like I just did this is greater than 400,000. So this is 173. Let me just make, oops, apply that. Um,
It's also, I realized in our election data that we have multiple rows per county because we have a row for each county for each candidate for each year, it seems like, which is not how I want my election data. So it seems like there's another step to be done in terms of preparing the election data to be useful.
hmm. Yeah, we should definitely be getting into that. So, so this should be,
I need to think about the
so if
best
I
way to
just
do that.
copy this again as like a raw URL. Oh, this is not the array, but yeah, it still only gave me 100 rows. Is there supposed to be like, it's supposed to be paginated or
It
something?
is paginated, but again, it should be paginated to the 1,000 results. And it says truncated false. filter.
Can I like change the page size somehow?
Yeah, you can say limit equals something and just make that really big. Limit equals 4,000. What do I think is the best way to prepare that data for querying? Well, so I would want, instead of having, you see how like, whatever, DeKalb County has one, two, three, four results that are all from the year 2000. Yeah, like all, from the DB side. I would want to have one
Wait,
row. I'm
is your
talking to,
screen up?
oh yeah, sorry. I would want to have like one row for every county and just have a bunch of columns of like 2016 Pres Dem total vote, 2016 Pres Rep total vote, like 2016 Pres percentage, because then you can just query across everything that's like ever happened in that county. Whereas the current structure where it's all different makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's not like we're not too far away from it. It just means I have to sort of like take this data and sort of turn it on its side a little bit. Which I feel like I've done before. So we talk a lot about this of like being a hacker is mostly remembering where the code that you wrote that solves your current issue is, and it's less about like writing new code. So if I remember where the code I wrote that does this already is, then this will happen a lot faster. We'll see.
I'm gonna be. I don't want a slider because a slider is too many choices. So I'm gonna say view of amounts. I'm just gonna give it some choices. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million. Let's fuck up some commas.
Love it. Into it.
So yeah, so I got it to be greater than 1,000, or I think I can do
Oh yeah, that looks
option.
like more than 100.
Yeah, it's 1,000 now. So is there a way you can make the default that 1,000 number be bigger? Because I think it won't let me go bigger than 1,000.
That makes sense. Um, it turns out I wrote a script called Group by County at some point on some computer, so I'll just need to find that. All right, so I'm gonna go to the dataset docs and see if there's a way to fix the publish, like fix the way I publish it so it has a better limit.
I think that this is where I learned about the size parameter. I just put it in the chat. It looks like you can config.
Yeah, exactly. So I know what config command I want to pass to it. What I don't know is how to pass that in while I'm publishing it.
Oh, I see. To Heroku.
Yeah, exactly. So
That was already kind of
it
cool.
says extra options, but when I did that before, it made it crash.
Weird.
I might just tweet at Simon Wilson and ask him.
I feel like, how come I'm not getting like Alameda County? I feel like that should be bigger than 100,000. I should be able to say, yeah. Well, anyway, I'm gonna put, and folks probably have this link, but theoretically they could be making their own queries against your database.
I'm open to that. I'm
Flagging
down
these
for
things.
that. Yeah, everybody's totally allowed to go and try and do it. Tweeted out my question. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope that gets me some sort of answer. Until then, you're limited to your 1,000 counties. I'm so sorry.
I think we can work with that. Um, right? It's like a lot of the interesting stuff we want to do is actually to get to a subset of counties, right? Like, so I think there's like a variety of ways we could go.
Well, I have another question, which is we put the
Yeah,
Eves data into that database as well. So could we
yeah,
try making your awesome green map with the Eves data? Because I think it might be formatted slightly different in terms of the FIPS codes and all that stuff. So I think it's worth thinking about how to
yes,
format everything in the same way so that they're interchangeable when we're visualizing and analyzing them.
yeah. I'm going to sort of just do it right below. Um, all right, so I can essentially, well, let me start. I'm gonna do what you suggested and go here to the election data, and then you're saying Eves. That's what you were saying next, right?
Yes, I think so. Just because it's formatted better than the historical elections data. Either one.
But does this have by county? This looks like states.
No, it's by. This is each of these is a county, and they have states in because there should be more than 50 rows, right? Oh shit, you're right. It is by state. Look at that. Right?
All right,
No, 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 no.
Shirley, thanks for tuning in.
Oh yeah. Bye, Shirley. Have a good night.
Get some dinner.
Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so maybe I put the wrong Eves data into our Heroku instance, like a silly, terrible person. Oh, yep, you're totally right. So Eves data county. Datasets. Here we go. CSV. Here we go. This is what we really want. This enormous file. So we want Eves county.csv. Uh-oh. It does too exist. Oh, it's an underscore. Oh boy. What are you doing over there?
Well, I just thought I would tweet a little status update that we got this working.
Oh, you're tweeting? You're doing tweets?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I'm trying to republish our Eves data. Oh, but it might be too much fucking data. No, it seems like it went fine. I'm going to try and publish our insane Eves data to Heroku. And that has like FIPS. So you're like ready to map if it has FIPS codes, right? Basically.
Yeah, yeah. If it has a FIPS code, or if I can make a FIPS code out of it.
if there's a way to get a FIPS code out of it, I like that attitude.
I think yeah, this is going great, man. Like we got in
Well,
our
don't
first
jinx it.
hour, our first segment though, we did what we set out to do, right? We got
Yeah,
went through our county stuff. We got one of the census data sets that we want to use to have as a backdrop for a lot of things. Got into data set. Yeah, we're currently trying to push it to do more, right? Surface a couple more data sets
exactly.
and you know, Eves, which is all the voter registration and polling place election stuff, as well as I guess you have historical election results as well was one of the things, right?
Yeah, but it's not. I might have to do some offline work to get it in the right format. Oh, actually, what I discovered is that I have a make file which references a group by county file, which I may or may not have on this computer. I don't think I do. I think it's on my laptop. But if I get that script off my laptop, then I think we can group our election results by county and everybody can be happy.
Couldn't we do it in SQL too, or we could group by year or something? Or I guess, oh, I see what you're
I'd rather
saying.
not, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of the nice thing with is like when the table is exactly what you're looking for, then you don't have to think so hard when you're querying against it, and you can try a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. Except it is
Well, I
loading
see
quite slowly.
it is getting slower right now. I do see Eves County
Should I give it more
has an
money?
option.
This is how I got into this whole problem, is that anytime the Heroku free instance is slow, and I'm like, oh, I'll just give it money. So it acts like a thing again, and then I forget. And I'm like, what? I'm
I,
not. Anyway.
it feels like, yeah, I mean, even for at least for the duration of our stream, we could throw a little money at it,
All
and
right,
then,
love it. Now we're talking.
if you just like, depending on how far that takes us, right? It's like,
I have to log in again. All right, I'll do this off screen.
yeah, so
All right, so what are we rocking now with resources? Change dyno type. Hobby? Sounds right. Do I have to restart to get the benefits of this? Uh, can I restart it? All right, I'm restarting it. It should be much faster when it comes back. Oh shit. Oh, like has a whole web thing. Dataset serve host. I think I can do the. I think I can. I think I just. I can answer my own question from before. Or can I not edit this? Oh, maybe I can't answer my own question.
I'm, I was a little bit surprised by some of the counties I was seeing when I did my querying, so I'm just going to do a simple sanity check real quick.
Sounds good to me. It's still taking forever to try and load the Eves County table. I do have 114,000 rows, so that's nice.
Yeah, Alameda County has 1 million, but it wasn't coming back when I. Oh wait, no, that's a different number. Where's total population? Yeah, it's 1 million, 1.6 million. Am I asking for the right field?
All right, so it's still being slow, so I'm gonna bump it up to a standard 1x dyno and restart it. And maybe that'll be the speed I desire. If somebody's DDoSing my Heroku server right now, knock it off. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, maybe our tweet went viral. No, but
I don't think so.
yeah.
All right, we trust you,
So
Blue Radon. You're clear. I'm just worried worried about all these other jokers.
yeah, we're friends now, so that's
let's see. Are we back? Can we be fast enough?
I'm also going to sort these because there may be some. I think I've probably have a bug in my FIPS code hacking because there's counties not rendering that should be rendered. I think. Yeah, there's Alameda. Alameda shows up twice. What do you know? That's not good. Oh, a lot of these are showing up twice.
What are you querying again?
The Eves County data. Oh, wait, no. Census, the demographic data 2018.
I can't even get. Okay. So I can get it to respond on Eves. Or I can't get it to respond on anything. What is my group by script written in? It's written in module JavaScript. Whatever that means. It's an MJS file. Yeah, I'm having request timeouts, man.
Oh, I did mess up this. So the FIPS code pad start is 3. Boom, there we go. We're lighting up. These are our million people counties. All right, I feel better.
I'll get my laptop and see if that group by script is on it.
I'm sure this isn't too much data for Heroku, but
It seems like a lot.
I feel like there's something wrong with the Eves County. Like it's just
I
an
agree. It's just
application error.
hanging. Yeah.
Then also I noticed that the demographic data has 6,400 rows. So it looks like things are getting inserted twice.
Oh shit, dude! It's because I'm not RMRFing this database before I add the CSVs back into it. So that's entirely my bad. I am so sorry.
I know very soon I want this to be an SVG map with tooltips. But I don't want to make tooltips on stream.
Yeah, I agree. It's a...
Actually, you know what? I did have a reasonable compromise, is that I can pretty quickly make a map where when you hover, instead of a tooltip on the map, it shows it right below. So that you get like...
oh yeah, like just a little display.
Interactive.
You can also get away with also just like putting, like labeling it, right? So for everything that's green, add the text of the county name or whatever thing you're showing, whatever metric.
Yeah. Still. All right. I'm just gonna make an SVG map real quick while we're waiting on. Oh yeah, D3 can be overwhelming because it covers a lot of technologies. So the interesting thing is I think it's interesting. I don't know. This is a canvas map, but I'm still using key parts of D3, like the projection and the path, which is what turns the shapefile, like the boundaries, the geographic boundaries, into pixel coordinates, XY coordinates. That's what the projection lets me go from lat long to XY. The path is what lets me go from XY to either like canvas drawing commands or SVG paths. And so I'll show, I'm actually just going to pull like this code real quick to make an SVG version that will end up probably replacing that Canvas 1 county SVG. So let's update this. So this creates an SVG element, and
so wait, your original one was in Canvas?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really. This is probably gonna break. Okay, so I basically loop over the shapes and then I render the path and then I have this weird logic for if it, you know, for each of the selections, get its FIPS code. I should probably turn this into a function. This is really,
Yeah, that's some real boss stocky code
uh,
right there.
it only looks like that because of the prettier format actually. So it's gonna be like get FIPS or get census FIPS or something. So I'm gonna have function get census FIPS. Yeah, I'm having to do it because these are like they're basically stored as numbers, the county and state, but they're supposed to be these zero padded strings of like, 06, 001 or whatever. So that's what this
Simon
pad
got back
stuff
to me.
does. Oh, really?
Yeah, shout outs Simon Wilson. I had to put it in quotes. I'm a fucking idiot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's the magic of the internet right there.
Yeah, the internet's pretty
It's
good.
like, yeah.
Okay, so I need to do. Great. And we want to make it 4,000 so we can have as many rows as we want.
Okay, so here's an SVG map with no fill. And so then I need pretty much the same logic. I have prettier turned on, I think. I'm not sure I like it. So if this stuff, can I just make this all one line? Return green. Okay, so this is our SVG versus our canvas. I think I'm gonna like comment out the canvas one.
And we're live with our new max returned rows value, so you shouldn't max out anymore.
What? Okay. Leave that around in case anyone wants to see how to do a canvas map. Shrink that down a little bit. Okay, so don't want to see necessarily. And then we were doing like a less dramatic stroke. Okay. Oh, I guess I can give it. More pronounced border if they. Okay. So here's our SVG map. You say, so now my size, you set the size to like 4,000 or
Yeah,
something?
4,000, which is by my count more than the 3,000 odd counties that we have in the United States.
Yes. So if I look for all the counties that have a greater population than 10,000, it's most of them.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Nice, nice. But I can keep it at like 100K. Still 600 counties. That's where I am right now. All right. So that's pretty cool. All right, what is going well? All right, so
It's getting
got my
kind of
little
take our.
SVG
We're
map.
about 5 minutes away from our halftime in terms of
Okay.
splitting our hour up. So I want to take a little quick 5-10 minute break maybe, and then when we come back, we've done our mise-en-place, right? We've done a lot of preparation, cutting of things. I want to get into the fun side and like put a map together. We also talked about just adding the date and a line chart to our COVID bubble map. And that's interesting to me as well. So we could potentially pivot to that, or we could do an election thing. I'm down for whatever you think.
Yeah. Did these? So these now load and don't complain. Like you can get the eaves.
No, well, the counties, Eves underscore county.
Yeah,
No, I'm still having trouble with that.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be interesting to switch gears. The calendar thing, I want to bring that up because we had, let's see, before we go on this break, we can just sort of put that out there as one of the things we want to do. See? So basically what you're talking about is we have this like bubble map of COVID cases per capita, right? Like per 100,000 people. And you, as the animation, like as you watch it go through the days, it you can see where new cases are happening over time, right? It started in New York, kind of blew up there, moved to the south, and then up into like yeah, the south lit up in the rural areas. But we have no sense of time. Like this is we that last stream that we did this in, and we just focused on the visual map itself, and we were playing with ideas of like bringing the illustrator. Um, so I had an idea for a fun like calendar widget where it's like a D3 calendar, right? And then it would like light up the day of the month. And so like, it would say the month name
So it'd be like the
and then the
calendar
day
across the top, you're saying, or like what would it look like?
or just like a square. It's like, like whenever you look at one month of a calendar. So it would say like September or Sep or whatever.
Got it.
And then as it's ticking through each day, that the box of that day would light up, right? So you'd be watching it go by, and it would give you a bit more of a like rhythm, I think, of like, okay, the
Yeah,
month changes
weekday and
slow.
weekend. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
like
and
that
then even
idea.
thinking forward, we do a lot of time lapses, or we have been, and like you could imagine that the calendar one, but if you're also we also have hourly data for other things that we work with, and like the smoke data I was working with, you could have a clock too, and like as a clock spins hour by hour, and so it'd be like a visual. Like you don't have to actually read the date and the time, but if you paused it, it would stop on the right date and time, for
That's cool.
example.
Yep. So how do we
So
do
that
that? We
could be a
just sort
way.
of like
Yeah,
add some space. I'm tempted. The other option, so that's one option. One option is to tune
that's
up
one
this
option.
map.
Yeah.
I think the other option is I just found my group by county script. So we could do that on the historical data and then try and make a visualization where we query Dataset and query historical election data and maybe census or maybe voter registration or whatever. Like try and combine the data sets that we now have on Heroku and visualize out of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if we could do that, it might be best to have this be like, yeah, two-part election special because we got we got to a good point with the basic mechanics, and now we're talking about, okay, like now that we have it in there and we have multiple things in there, let's get that um let's use it for something. I think that'd be pretty nice.
All right, cool. So it's 9:30 now. We have been streaming for about an hour and a half now. We got about an hour and a half to go. I want to take a 10-minute break, I think. So we'll be back at like 9:41 or so, and do what you just said was try and wrap up our election night mise-en-place and try and get a visualization going. Do you want to? Should we drop the link in the chat since there are some people around for the background color crowd control stuff? And maybe we
Oh,
can come
yeah,
back to
yeah,
some
yeah.
cool colors. So if it's your first time on the stream, the flames that are around us are actually controlled through this observable notebook where you can go in and modify it yourself. And we like it's one of my favorite things, honestly, is coming back and seeing it be like a new cool color scheme. So see you guys in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
One, 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 Se nessuno crede ancora che ti amo, è perché non... Se nessuno crede ancora che ti amo, è perché non mi ha mai visto e no.
And we're back. We're live again. It's the second half of Coding with Fire, and I am EJ.
And I'm in.
Yeah. I always, literally every time I do that now, I flash back to the stream we did where we came back from break and I said that, hello, everybody, my name is Ian. And then there was like an awkward pause. And now, now when we come back, I have to think really hard about what my name is, so I don't do that again.
Fair enough, man. It's, hard to keep track of it very close.
It's all right, but so we have our game plan for our second half, which is basically we want to make a Hello World election map, basically, right?
Yeah, I think so. You and Shirley have been working with a certain data set called Eve.
I would say
right?
you and Shirley. I think Shirley and us, we and Shirley, collectively as a unit, we have been working with this Eves data in a notebook, and I want to take that data and add it to the dataset instance.
Well, and I think it's interesting to quickly mention like what's in it. Maybe I can
You're
bring
telling
this
me
in.
what's in Eve's data? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Right. So like we have counties, but for example, it has total registered voters, right? Like that's
Yeah,
an interesting number, especially over time. And what you were saying about like making a hello world thing, like we also have this idea, like, we have these demographic maps. And so we want to be able to bring these things together into one visualization. And, there's all kinds of ways, or, look at all these different fields about registration, um, inactive, inactive, right? Like, you're going to be looking at these slicing and dicing in different ways. So can we just do it once, right? Can we bring this data into Dataset with the demographic data we already had and basically say, I want both of those, right?
totally. But now that I'm looking at it, the way it's nested, it's going to be hard to get into a SQL database with this like nested object structure to it.
Well, we could reshape it slightly to make it more friendly, or it might already be. This is a processed version of basically. I think she got the data sets that you can go to the Eve's website and download it, right, and like brought them into Google Sheets, pulled out fields that she was interested, I believe, that also were across these different years,
Mm-hmm.
like consistent. Um, and then yeah, made it into this JSON format. But you're saying you would want it more
Yeah,
as
maybe
like a
we go back to the source. Yeah, like if we can just go to like I downloaded Eve's 2018, right, which is the change between 2016 and 2018. Um, and that's what I have in the instance now in like Eve's County, but that hasn't been loading for us. Like I haven't gotten that to
oh, and it
load.
is 64, 60 rows, right? And like so it's basically yeah, this raw data should be all these fields.
Yeah, exactly. And then you would just say like where D3A is greater than 0 or greater than 100 or whatever, or A1A is like registered voters, I think. You know what I mean?
Right. And there is like the keys. So I don't think they change actually in this case by year, but like it'll give you like this nice label. So we can pull this in, and when if we're doing similar stuff that we did here, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm, using these weird fields, we could get the nice, well, we didn't actually end up doing it. So that would be something to do, right? Get the nice keys. You only have to do that once, and then you can choose like these weird A2A or whatever.
Totally.
So, well, you had mentioned something about an ease by county script, right?
Well, no. So what I did is I had it's elections by county, where I take the
Election.
MIT election results and I like wrap them up. I actually like it's sort of similar to what I did at NBC for like the real elections graphics, where you take all the possible result, like you get like four different objects for your four different candidates within a county, and you just build your like ultimate county object, which is like has the winner party, has the winner percentage, how much they're winning by, like all that stuff that like you need as a visualizer to display, which is much different from like what you need as like for certain data analysis or modeling or things like that. It's like everything that like a shape needs to display itself in different situations, you know?
Right. That, yeah. So,
So I put that, I made a gist of that. I don't know, I'll just drop that. Do you wanna try using it? Or should I
yeah,
try using it? I'm kinda curious to see if you can make it work on your computer. I don't know why.
make what work?
This MIT group script. But maybe I should just do it. I don't know why I thought that would be fun.
Oh, I see. You shared it in there. Um, yeah, I mean, I think,
Alright, so I'm gonna take the
yeah,
file
this
you
makes
sent. All years flat. What is it really? All years flat. It's all eaves, all years flat.
Yeah. So the way that file looks is that it's the key and then a pipe symbol and then the year. So you may want to group that as well, depending on what you're doing. But or no, that's all in one key. So there's just one county, one row per county.
Perfect. That's
But
exactly how I want it.
yeah. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. You would just say what year you wanted if you multiple years.
Oh, weird with the little. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sure, whatever. I mean, yeah. All right. So what's that file called? Eaves all years.
I guess. Yeah, our demographic data, we only loaded 2018, but you could theoretically, yeah, turn the year into, we should probably make the year like a variable in our notebook 2016. So I believe Shirley was interested in being able to look at these years in particular across. I mean, yeah, we're interested in it too, right? Like the shifts that happened 2014, 2016, 2016,
Totally.
2018,
And you can do
demographically,
queries like that too, right?
registration.
Like you could
Yeah,
even like use the query to like build a bunch of small multiples of different levels of it, or I think that should. I don't want to. I don't want to be afraid to pull in lots of disparate data because it makes the notebook slow. You know what I mean? And I can already feel it getting like dealing with 3,000 counties and a whole bunch of
okay.
parts of them, properties of them. It definitely gets heavy pretty quickly for most browsers.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So I think we're on a good track to get the several different ones into dataset, right?
So I have an Eves all years flat table now in the Heroku app. Let's see if that loads. I don't know like what the. Yeah, exactly. It's being slow for me though. It's even on the like paying money for it mode now. So I don't know why it's being so slow.
That's strange. Is there like a analytics or a log thing you can see for Heroku?
Yeah, it just says that it times out. Like CDF Dino what?
I mean, I don't think the weird thing is that the raw data for something like that, it's only 6 MB, right? So it's not like a large data set.
Yeah, it's so weird. Status 200. Status 503. Okay, somebody's getting demographics data JSON. Is that you? No.
I mean, probably.
Request timeout all flat.
Yeah, I just got a request time on all yours plan. What's interesting is that this county pres row, like that one seems to work fine, right?
I know. I don't. Is it because it's smaller? Like it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Year equals.
Yeah, because County Pres is 50,000 rows and Eves is 4,000. So why wouldn't it? I guess it does have a ton of columns. Is the other thing.
This one's being slow now too. Yeah, there you go.
Should I put it put it on the googly cloud and see if that's more better?
Um,
Because it has like a built-in thing for that. But I don't have an account, I don't think.
I mean, I have an account. I suppose I could try. I mean, like, the same data set can go to a Google thing.
Yeah, exactly. Let me find the doc. This is how you publish to Google Cloud Run. And you're going to need CSVs to SQLite.
Wait, are you gonna give me the database or like?
Oh, yeah, I can totally do that too. Yeah, my bad. It's a way smarter idea. So I'm going to take election data. It's 8.4. Should I compress it? I can just put it in Keybase like that, right?
Yeah. So I need to install Datasette too.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Datasette just, it keeps on giving. It is super handy. I'm a pretty big Datasette fan.
All right, I'm just gonna do it live. This should. Okay, I use Brew. Do you use any plugins for Datasette?
No.
Vega?
I just CSVs to SQLite. Do I paste that in? No, not yet. Hold on. It's important because that's. Oh no, sorry, it's not important anymore because I sent you the DB file. Yeah, no, you're all set.
Oh, but I need to know how to like import a dataset, I guess.
Or how to publish it.
Well,
What?
or a database, right?
No, it's part of the command. Like you just do dataset. And
Oh,
then
it's like the file that you need to. I see. Let me. So I have. Let's see. This is like. Dataset, and we called it election data. So when that's finished installing, I'll be able to run the command. I see it's this.
Yep. But there's a little extra sauce that Simon Wilson taught us that I will paste in the chat. I'll paste in the chat the command I've been doing, and I think you can figure out how to change it for Google Cloud. But the extra options is important. And if it doesn't work on Google Cloud, then I give up temporarily, and we can take another approach.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I have Google Cloud. I'll just try this command once it's done installing. So let me grab this. So my database will instead be election database, and my service will be CWF election data. Okay, this is still doing stuff. So we'll serve traffic somewhere. All right, so cool. Can I should also be able to run a local one, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Okay, where do I? Can you give me the command for that?
Yeah, just data
Or-
set and then the .db file.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, is there any way you can just resize your terminal so at the bottom 25 pixels are, because like it's cut off on the current, yeah, exactly. You're the best.
Cool. And a good font size.
Yeah.
Okay, so this actually did a SQL query of the all years flat
Oh, cool.
of yours that like I haven't like it eventually. This is
It
still
ran
loading.
eventually. That's why I think if you maybe we'll just see if it's a Heroku thing or what the deal is exactly. And
Oh,
didn't
well,
you,
we should.
weren't you talking about making an arrow map before?
Yeah, I'm really interested in doing playing with like shift maps. I think they call it, right? The arrows.
Do you want to do a registered voter shift map from
Sure.
2016 to 2018
Yeah,
with our last hour?
I think that's a perfect goal.
Because I feel like we could do a rabbit hole with this data set thing, and it's not really the most entertaining television.
Yeah, that's a good call. So where what should I use for the registration voter data?
Well, first I would ask you how I would flip it around. Where does one find a arrow map? Do you know if there's one on observable that we can start with or fork? I'm imagining well, before we even do any of that, I'm imagining a map, right? And the it's an arrow. It's not red or blue. It's just a black arrow, and the more right it goes, the more people have registered, and the more left it goes, the less people have registered. Like the change between 2016 and 2018 registered voters in that county.
Yes, so I'll put I don't know of one in observable. I searched earlier and didn't find one, but
Yeah, but yeah, this is exactly.
this is the visual that we want, right? But you're
Yep.
saying instead of this changing like the presidential candidate shift or whatever, um, that we would do it for, the voter registrations. I mean, I can pull in what I was showing earlier since we don't have it.
Yes, I think that we want to use the all years flat file because you basically want A1A across from 2 years.
Yes. All right. So basically, all right. Well, I'm going to start a new notebook then, right? Because we're going to swap it out later, or not swap it out, but, back it by a different data source later. But this is going to be registered voters by county or change in it, whatever, right? Like we'll figure that out. So I'm going to attach this all years flat file, which is from a notebook that I think Shirley has, and maybe we'll work on in her stream coming up soon.
What is she got again? Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30.
I think it's Wednesdays and Fridays.
Wednesdays and
Tuesdays.
Fridays and Tuesdays. Whoa.
Well, this week she's saying she's doing Tuesday. Yeah.
She said earlier. 10:30 a.m. PST. Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday this week too.
Yes. So we just say .csv. You can do this cpass typed now, and it will return the numbers. FIPS code is kind of funky. I think they add extra zeros to it or something.
No,
but-
that's correct. That's the more OD version of a FIPS code because beyond counties, there's also precincts and townships, and those are that other part after the 5 is the township code, which you can also, the same way that you can determine a state and county from a FIPS, you can determine a state, county, and township from a very long FIPS.
I see. All right, so
FIPS codes are cool. And they're not numbers, they are strings.
I also happen to know that there is, in the same notebook, a key labels file. So, because you want to get total registered voters,
Right.
probably.
Which I happen to know is A1A. Like it's the first
Okay.
field.
So you just know things. That's very fine. Oh. Okay, so we don't need that for now, but this would be, yeah. All right, so this is all years flat, I guess. And so it's got a bunch of counties. So if we want to group by county.
When you say a bunch, do you mean all of the counties?
All of the counties,
Okay.
yes. That's
just want to clarify.
Nice. Yes, fair. I guess we're gonna map, like I want to do like I did in the other one and grab the county boundaries and set up a map that we can draw, right? And then...
Well, if only somebody had made a notebook where they made it really easy to make county maps with data.
Yeah.
That would have been really smart.
Yeah. So this is that notebook. Well, this is that notebook.
This is that notebook.
Yeah. And
this
so,
is that notebook you've been...
Actually, for...
Go ahead, sorry. I was going to spit
people
bars.
that just maybe didn't catch the first half, we built this. We made a dataset, or EJ made a dataset API and deployed it to Heroku very quickly. And then we made this quick interface to it can highlight the counties that have greater than 1 million population or something. And in the process, like this code for rendering that map, we can just basically copy paste. And then instead of, we're just not going to fill it, or we're going to comment out this logic.
Yeah, we'll do that stuff later.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. We'll do the fills and stuff later, right?
Yeah.
Gotta get D3.
Version 6. All right. So it's probably really faded. I did that on purpose, but let me turn it up just a little bit. The county boundaries are being rendered, and we want to do something. We want to draw an arrow from the middle of each one, probably, right?
Uh-huh.
Based on what's going on. And to do that, I guess we could say even before we draw an arrow, we need to be able to get the appropriate data for that. So we could even color it by the 2016 voter registration number or something to start,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Well,
prove that
first,
we
can
can
you save and pub it so we can edit it together and drop it in the chat?
Yes, excellent points. Definitely folks can hack along.
Awesome.
Publish that.
Yeah, feel free to fork and play along at home. We love forks.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna in like the fill, we want to access the data. So the thing is that this is an array with the FIPS codes. What I want to do is like have um, well, eaves by county, right? And I could use some weird new JavaScript stuff um, where we're gonna get back like a lookup table, so we can say, hey, here's a FIPS code. Give me back the data for that FIPS code.
Perfect.
Is what this is gonna do.
And that'll make that data much smaller as well too. Right? Like because then you're not dealing with all the stuff you don't care about. It's just the only the stuff you need to make a map, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll make this much money. I guess when you have the lookup way, yeah, you can kind of it's really quick to look up what you need without sort of running through everything over and over looking for what you need, is the way I think about it. I don't know if that
No, that makes sense.
makes so like each of these now, if you pass in a FIPS code, it's gonna, give you back all the data for that county. And we happen to have FIPS codes. They're just so this is what I was saying about the numbers, right? Like
See,
I really
I
want
thought you were
this.
gonna do this a level deeper. I thought you were gonna make it so that it like only returned the A1A values for that FIPS code.
Ah, yeah. So actually, that's a great point. We could easily do that here. So what I'm doing is I'm returning the whole object. But what we want is a particular field A1A for, let's say 2018, right?
To start, yes.
So to start. So then I would just like access that as a key. So now I'm
Yeah,
getting the numbers.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what we sort of the next step beyond that is we really want A1A 2018 minus A1A 2016, basically, if I'm understanding math correctly, which it might be the other way around.
I think this is right because well, yeah, I mean, where there's more, you get a positive number, and if there's less, you get a negative number, right?
Exactly.
Like,
So that should be what the
um,
data that you need to draw your arrows. So if it's a negative number, you want to draw them left, and if you want a positive number, you want to draw them to the right.
right. And one thing we probably want to do is define this as a function, like, um, say, this is like diff, I don't know, we can call it diff or something.
Yeah, that's generally what I call it.
And yeah, it should be like that.
Oh,
Because
nice.
now,
Yeah, this is great.
yeah, like we can do something like just do it here, I guess. D3.extent all years flat, and I pass it diff. It's gonna give me like the
Oh,
smallest.
nice. That's awesome.
All right, how could there be a county that has like negative,
So this is the thing that's
1.3 million?
crazy. I bet you that there was like there have been insane voter removals. Like this is the story that I've been working on. Like hundreds of thousands of people have been removed from counties like year to year. I believe it. I believe it.
All right. Well,
We should find
we
out
could
what
start.
county that is, but you know what I mean? Like that doesn't seem totally crazy to me. What I mean, I don't know. What is that number? 342. That's like 1.3 million, something like that, or is it 13
Yeah,
million?
let me publish this. Um, yeah, so there is Mike made this like where I'm looking for the link. I had it open in one of my tabs up here. Like methods of comparison compared.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's great. So it's like Epic Notebook.
Oh, I see.
Um, so there's a bunch of this is like really relevant, right? Because this is looking at deaths per 100,000, but the change between 2 years. So this is like 1980 to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just draw the two maps with their values, you could like flip back and forth, or like this is exactly what we're doing, right?
Right.
Calculating the
Cooling
difference.
and warming.
Yeah, and so then, but then you could do like relative change to try to make it, and he just goes through, and there's each of these is like a slightly different formula ratio, and they're all ways to show a change. And so, first of all, I was like, well, this is already done, so I want,
You just want to steal it.
yeah. So like, for instance, he's got this color.
Yeah, definitely take that color scale. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, I thought it would show me. Or this one's going to use, yeah, it's like it's calculating the death. Yeah, color 2. So I just need to find where color 2 is defined. Why is it? It normally shows me. Oh, it imports it from another notebook.
It's turtles all the way
Cool.
down, bro.
Oh, this looks like a more, right? It's like a one-off example. So the color, all it is a square root scale. Or no, color 2. Okay, this is a pretty crazy
Oh, yeah,
one.
this is more fun. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's a two-way scale where it interpolates blues below 0 and interpolates reds above 0.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to get a legend to show it as well.
You're going to steal his legend too?
Yeah. Well, it's
Just
like it's
straight
almost like a
thievery.
component at this point. That's how you got to do it. Where are we at here in terms of, yeah, registered? So instead of death values, it's this essentially. I think you want dot map diff. And then it's gonna be that stuff. Oops. Undefined is not a function. I don't know what that D3.min not a function anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are they talking about?
Oh. What would happen?
That's so weird.
I don't understand what's happening. Because if I do D3.min,
yeah, let's just check that. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's not D3.min.
Oh, it's trying to pass in a function A, B. Maybe this is weirdness. Oh. I see.
Yeah, what is going on?
I don't think I need that stuff.
We don't know.
I already put the difference. I put the difference in the values.
Oh, sick. Oh yeah, you don't need a double difference. Double dip your difference.
Yeah. I'm going to cite this. So
you don't want to double dip your difference when you're mapping differences. Only one difference is necessary.
There's a color legend that Mike has that's quite nice to use.
Yeah, I love it.
This, so you can see what's going on. And I think you just say color 2.
Sick, dude. Talk about fast.
Yeah, so then we should be able to say here, well, I'm gonna hide this since we don't need to look at anymore. The thing is, oh yeah, I have it by county. Yeah, the difference by county. So I should just be able to, that's the lookup thing, is that here we're gonna dot get d.id, because the ID is the FIPS code.
Uh-huh.
And then we're just gonna return code 2.
Oh, so good.
And we get that. Now,
All right.
we're just missing counties for some states?
It doesn't seem right to me. I'm gonna be honest.
Doesn't seem right at all, right?
So we're missing Wisconsin. No, go back. We can
Sorry,
debug based on what's
California.
missing. So sometimes if you're missing like Alabama and California and stuff like that, it can be because you're missing 0, 1 states. You know what I mean? Like any state, the first 10 states have preceding zeros in their FIPS codes, and that can often break things.
Yeah. So, like, if we went through enough of these, we would find like 4-letter.
Yeah, exactly. If you did dot length less than 5, you would get a whole bunch of things that weren't being mapped properly. Would be my first guess, right? Based on seeing Alabama and California missing.
Yeah. So that's gonna be weird. We don't know if the okay. So this logic is probably slightly off in that if it is 0, Alabama 0, 1, we need to put a 0 before we turn it into a string.
There's a loadout. I guess you just want a pad left with zeros, where if it's less than 5, pad left with a 0.
But is it like if we looked up stateful? So if I say
But
all
that's what's
years,
freaking me out is and your FIPS codes are all numbers, and they're not. As we previously discussed, FIPS codes are not numbers; they're integers. No, they're strings. Sorry, they're
right?
strings.
This might be because we do the typed thing. Maybe I need to do typed false.
Yes, they're strings, not integers.
But it might have, when I did this in the other note in Shirley's notebook, I might have converted them already to.
Well, it's fine. Just then, whatever length of numbers this is, just pad left 0, an extra. You know what I mean?
Well, that's if any of them start with 0. So yeah, let me fill.
None of them are going to start with 0 if they got integer. You know what I mean? And they're just going to be 1 less length.
Right. I just want to like.
Yes, love it. I love this plan.
Can I not spell Alabama or?
No, because it's not showing up in the map because
it's just not there.
Yeah, it's not there.
How is that? How could there be 4,000 and it not?
Townships, my dude. Townships.
But even okay, so this data set just comes with.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Wisconsin all comes through as townships. But I don't know about any of the prior years prior to 2018. But I would go back, like, how far are we from the original Eves data right now?
I don't know. So I think it's. Shirley has loaded the Eves data into Google Docs, done some stuff.
That might be, sorry, that step just right there, just that step might have messed everything up because when you load it, the CSV into Google Docs, it can recognize the FIPS column as a number and convert it all to numbers and get rid of your preceding zeros, so like just in that Google Docs step.
But I'm also seeing Oh, you know what? I think, yeah. So I'm seeing them if I filter in the original data, but at some point I think she's like rejecting um, counties that don't appear in all 3 years.
Mmm. Interesting.
So I don't know what happens if, like, I guess I can pull this down here.
Yeah, yeah, I see
So
it.
it's
It's
like,
in line
I,
number I can't tell you in two group all years by county and key. Yeah, yeah, you got it. I would guess that's about the sixth line,
this
maybe
one
the
here.
fifth line. Yeah, that's the one.
So I could just do this. Um,
What you doing? What's this?
like, instead of doing that,
I'll just calculate the difference here, or no?
well, it's not, no, I mean, like, the problem is that it's just like not including all the counties. I think, I don't know if this is gonna,
Well, first of all, everyone should be concerned that there's 4,000 things in that array of counties, right? That should be your first clue that
yeah.
something is awry. Because there are not 4,000 counties in the United States. I can't tell you how many there are. It's like 337, 3,300 and something like that, but it ain't 4,000, I'll tell you that.
I need it to be. Oh, I think I just want it to be that, not the key. So this is gonna make many more, I think. And this is why, like, yeah, we can save this file. It's gonna take a second to run, and then yeah, 6460. That's a number I saw before.
Yeah, that seems like too many, huh?
Yeah, but it's consistent with, like, for instance, what you had in one of these.
Oh yeah, no,
Uh,
because there's townships in mine as well.
yeah. So this is just the Eves data. Yeah, so we're like, I guess, getting on the same. Yeah, now there's Alabama here.
Hey, how on
So
earth is in the
uh,
chat? 3,141 counties. Okay? That's less than 4,000. I'm not a fucking mathematician or anything, but that is less than 4,000.
yes, but I can download this one, and it's fixed.
Does it change? How do you add a county? Are we done with counties? Can counties split like stock? How can I name an unnamed natural feature? That's a good question.
I'm going to, well, I guess, upload a new version of this. And then when I read in my file attachment, it's going to say @1. So it's going to 64060. That should have re-rendered our map. Oh, but we may have our fits issue again. Yeah, these are all starting with 1.
And they should, yeah, everything in Alabama should start with 0.
Yeah, I guess we got to get rid of the last 5 zeros first. Or, right, like that's what's making this.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, slice it to the first
Yeah.
5 and then pad at 0.
And
No, I don't think that's right, because the only way to know if it's had a 0 before or not is if its length is shorter or longer.
oh, right, yeah, because this can't. I have to take the. It's more like 0 to. Okay.
It's like if
So the
length
string.
is less than expected, then pad left 0.
Yeah. Well, we can do s dot length
And then slice all
minus
you want.
5, I think, and then
The fuck? What?
goes to the end.
I believe you. I trust in you, but I don't know what that does.
We're
You're cutting
basically
up
saying.
the last 5 and then padding it.
Yeah. Wait, no, I don't want to go. I don't want the last 5. I want it to go from 0 to the length minus 5. Right? It's like I want to keep everything. This string could end up being. Oh, shit. Something like that. I don't know. That seemed to work. Yeah. So these aren't 0. These aren't padded properly. Unless I did too many.
That seems better. But
But
none of them
are
have
sure.
zeros. Yeah. I don't think this is right.
Yeah, so
Rubber ducky real quick. So we have 2 types of FIPS codes in our data. One is from a state that had a 0 in its FIPS code and it's gone now. So like, can we extract like a sample of an Alabama and then an example of one that shows up, like a New York or something like that, and look at their FIPS codes side by side, because we just want to make them look the same, basically.
yes. However, is this? Oh, why did my? So I think I got it now to where I wasn't padding them with the right number, right?
That
So
looks
like
right.
these
I love that. Yeah, that seems great. I'm so proud of you. You've done tremendous work. I'm sorry I ever doubted you for whatever the weird fucking shit you're doing right now. Perfect. And Wisconsin's by townships.
And probably Alaska is something else too.
I don't know about that. You did it. You made the map. Learn to celebrate for a second. Don't. Take a fucking screenshot. We worked really hard to like pull in all the data, and you worked really hard to pull in all the data and make the map.
Nice.
So now this is the first step to, like, now you're doing it in color. We have half an hour left in our stream. Do you think that the arrows are doable, or should we take like a stab at like another type of comparison visualization?
I mean, I'd love to do a simple arrow thing and like play with that a little bit. It's been on my mind for a bit. Let me put this out there.
Yeah, see? Alaska 02. In the Middle East. The Middle East. That's the Midwest. I think if you're talking, if I had to guess, that's South Dakota, and I don't know why it's flag, but Helen Earth says Alaska State is boroughs, not counties. No, it's fine. I just love the idea of saying Middle East. It just makes me really happy. Yeah, why is that? Why is that county not showing up? I wonder. I might take my patented smoke break and come back in a second, if that's allowed.
Yeah, um, I think that's fair. Come back and wrap. Yeah, we'll get this. Burrow is not okay. Yeah. So
Sorry, before we sign off for the night, can we figure out what the fuck county lost like 1.3 million registered voters, or was that a problem, or like what that was about? I totally forgot about that.
yeah, we can definitely get to that. So one thing I want to do is that I'll make it so that you can, when we mouse over, it's easy to like display some information about that
Tool tip,
county.
tool tip tip.
But
Yeah, is it dark blue? Hey, wait, no. Before I leave, is the one in the Middle East that's black? Is that just a really dark blue one? I'll find out my
one
goddamn
second.
self.
What did I do?
Where is this notebook? Oh, here it is. Great. Yeah, what did you do? Where did the map go?
Sorry.
All right, I'll be back in un segundo. Godspeed in your endeavors.
All right. I was just I'll explain what I was thinking while EJ heads off for a second. Is that I got I wanted my county, lookup to be the object itself because I want to be able to access all of this when I display the tooltip. And then the difference function we have, which runs on a county, basically will we'll use it in the color like I here, but I had to check to make sure that the county has an entry because apparently our Alaska and Wisconsin show up because of the townships and the boroughs. So we can get to the bottom of that. I think this is a good time to also just step back and remark how just visualize the act of visualizing data often reveals, you could look at them as problems, but also particular things about a data set that you might have assumed would be a different way, like the whole country has counties. An assumption I held up until a few minutes ago. Features, yes. Something about bugs and features. Bugs are just undocumented features. And visualization helps document. So the thing, this is a pretty common pattern. I'm gonna do a D3 mouse over event, and then I'm gonna emit that so that observable will handle, instead of constantly logging it, I'll be able to use that value in a different cell. So that means I'm going to turn this into a view of, and this node that we return is the DOM element. So I'm just going to make that a variable. Say, let's node. I got to spell node right. And we'll say the initial value of the node will just be null. But what I want to do is on mouse over, actually this passes now an event and data elements. I'm going to say node.value equals D, and then I need to do node.dispatch something something. I always forget this. We had I don't think this has it. If I go, the way I remember this is I look at the inputs notebook, And if you look at the implementation of any of these, oh, it's the input. That's the very bottom. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry, I forgot what I usually do. I don't look at the slider or just any. I look at one of the maps. The implementation of this one has custom events. It's this line, dispatch event. So this is something I would hope can make a little easier to remember, because when you do this, if I hide this code, now if I say county SVG, it's null, but as I mouse over, it's showing me the property, you know. These are 55, these are 02, California. So this is the FIPS ID of whatever one I'm moused over, and properties. But we could also then do this reactive thing. So then if we say eaves by county SVG, we'll, you know, make sure it exists, get the ID, parishes, boroughs. I think
How's it going?
it's pretty good. Still talking about the different data. Well, I'm getting the tooltip going, so yes, hopefully that works. No, it's not this, it's .get. Okay, so now I should probably make this on click, not mouse over. So when you click on something, so Riverside County, it had a drop of 200,000. I wonder if its population changed at all. But why did our extent say there was 1 million? Oh,
Yeah, it did seem like it was a lot.
Santa.
Is our extent the same now? Was that just because the FIPS code? Like,
This one's like 300,000.
they're strings.
Well, that shouldn't have. Oh, do we? Yeah, I could have messed it up somewhere. So this needs to be also
Yeah,
red,
exactly.
and our red and blue is like backwards, I feel, right? It's like,
Yeah, I also just realized that using red and blue for political maps where red and blue aren't
yeah.
Republican Democrat is confusing.
So when we set up our color, we just choose different things. What do we want?
Ooh, let me see.
Greens.
What be the options? D3 color schemes, scales, color schemes. Oh, so many fun options. Which one are we using right now?
Well, I'm using interpolate. You have the interpolate. So interpolate oranges and interpolate greens is what I chose for randomly that are not red and blue. So if you look through the interpolates, I think you can.
Okie dokie. Oh, weird. The notebook that I thought had a bunch of options there is only for scale chromatic. So I can't find like an example of the interpolate skills. I might just be bad at it.
Well, I think I figured out Wisconsin. Although, why is there 1850 Wisconsin?
Oh, sick. Interpolate. Oh, I see. I just found it. Sorry. Yeah, do greens and purples. Or purples and gray. Or green and purple.
Greens and purples. Okay, purple.
Yeah. Well, except for there is a green party, but I mean, what are you gonna do?
The purples. I guess what we want to do, what we could also do is, because I'm not sure if we're missing in the Alaska ones, but like if I click on this really dark purple one, right, and if I say, I can just do diff. Let's say this is like Eve. One Eve.
One Eve. I love it.
So that's negative 300,000, which is crazy.
So it probably didn't exist in the previous year or something.
Yeah. Well, we want to. Well,
Oh no, it did. What the
no,
fuck,
wait.
dude?
But that number, that doesn't seem right, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's not how those numbers work.
that isn't how those numbers. It is. That went from 2.9 million to 2.6 million.
Okay.
I mean, that could be a very populated
What's the name of the
place.
county?
San Diego County.
In California?
Yeah, well, we can. This would be where it's nice to pull in some population data.
It has a total population of 3.3 million. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like. Well, but let's see how it changed. So I can also just. This is part of why I wanted this like this.
It is the 5th most populous county in the United States.
Yeah, so I wonder if its population changed. So demographics data. Let's remind myself. So if I say demographics data 2016 dot get I'm going to say bips equals this. Get bips. In 2018, if I click on it, oh, I need, well, it's that number. So it actually, the population went up by like 50,000 people.
So
But
the
the voters,
population went up, but the registered voters went down?
yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
I guess what you, oops. Yeah.
No, I don't think that the Eve's data set has an error for a couple of reasons. One reason is that Eve's is like a super trustable source. The other reason is that Eve's does updates on their data, and it's used by a lot of researchers. So if there was an error like that, like a coding, like an issue, it probably would have been caught and updated in the version that we're using by now. But I agree. No, it is like what we're looking at is strange. So we definitely have to figure out what is causing it, or if it just like is an anomalous thing in the data that we're looking at.
So what I like to do is I'm going to say like Phipps county name. So Eve
all years flat is Ian talked a little bit about this earlier in the stream. Shirley and Ian and I have been thinking about the selection data, and sort of they put together this idea of combining sort of Eve's data year over year, so you can compare what the registration data in 2016 or 2014, 2016, and 2018 looks like. And then Ian, I think you also did that for the demographic data, so you can have demographic data year over year to do not just county to county comparisons, but year over year comparisons within a county or across counties across the U.S. Is that correct?
I think so. I wasn't 100% listening because I
You're
was
focused on your tooltip.
typing this. Yes, but
That's allowed.
I guess you could say like population difference. But yeah, the idea is that we can click on any county and get this, right? I guess we got.
Yeah, when you're done, you want to repub and drop in the chat so folks can poke around and.
Yeah. Why does that get a 0? I don't want a 0.
D. Nice. I thought it was R. I was wrong.
Publish that. Put it in the chat.
Dope.
Yeah. So if I click here. Yeah.
Oh, also we have 8 minutes left in our stream, so I just want to be cognizant of how we want to spend those 8 minutes. Last time, so our last two streams we went like half an hour and then an hour over, and I don't want to make that a habit. I think we did great tonight. We made a map. We mise-en-place our data. There's a lot of cool maps to be made.
Yeah, I feel like there's this is a great starting point for exploring. There's so many more fields to FIPS, right? I mean, to the Eves data.
All of it. And then not even the combinations thereof. You know what I mean? Like comparing across data sets is where it gets the most interesting, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, one thing I kind of want to try is, I mean, even if it's not arrows, just like little lines or something, right? Like in the next 7 minutes.
I believe in you. I think that's doable.
Right, like I could hide and start filling there. I could still color them by.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have centroids for your counties yet?
I don't, but we've done that.
We could do that. Probably gonna need those. It's probably one of the first things you're gonna need, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I could probably take it from here. We use turf.
I love turf. Shoutouts turf.js, the best centroid finding library available on the market today.
I use turf slightly differently in a different notebook, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to import turf as well. And I believe we can test this out, but if I say turf.centroid county shapes 0, or is it each?
Yes.
Then these coordinates are the centroid of
straight
county. All right, so I'm probably gonna say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make a function called center. It's gonna take the GeoJSON for a county, and we're gonna sort, it's gonna take a FIPS code. No, wait.
What's it gonna do?
We already have. Yeah.
What's it gonna do, Ian? What does the center function do?
It's going to return the centroid, but I'm gonna get the not as a point.
Oh, just as an array.
And it won't be this, it will be D. So that we can then say in our map, I want to do, instead of all this, I'm going to draw little, well, I guess they're going to be paths.
They can be lines.
Bounds.
Because then you have to give them a D. You can just give them CXs and CYs. Or X1s and X2s and Y1s and Y2s.
Yeah, that's probably like a it's a good, keep us simple for sure. So yeah, you're saying basically you have X1 and you give it a value. Oh,
exactly.
Fine. And Y1, X2, and Y2. And so each of these, like, it will start at the centroid, so we'll do center D0.
Well, if it's positive, yes, but we can just do it this way and then we can go back and fix that, but yes.
Oh, I was gonna change the direction here probably.
Oh, I see. Oh, it always starts. I see what you're saying. It always starts at the center and it either goes left or right from the center. Got ya.
Yeah.
That's way less complicated than what I was thinking.
Right. So it still needs to start at the center, but then plus a scaled version.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like diff scale diff. Oh, but it needs to be the E, so we have to look it up. So this is going to be something, diff scale something. So when we do our mouse here, sorry, we get our E, we look it up by county. So where does all that logic? We haven't clicked on anything. We get the FIPS code. Okay. Like already forgotten. So it's d.id. And we're going to pass that into diff. So that's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's some Bostock looking code right there. You should add a turn array in there just for fun. Are you sure you don't want to put a turn array in there?
Very funny. So, is it supposed to be a square root scale? I don't know, but
I would have said that you could just divide it by 100.
Well, and it can go from like -50 to 50 or something.
I'm into that.
And this is the extent.
Scale extent.
Of our difference, which, didn't we calculate that already?
Yes, yep.
Diff extent equals that. I still want to find the negative one.
The super wild county.
Yes, we need this logic, I think. So this is C, hip C. Oh, what the hell? I can't see anything yet.
Getting close.
C, return that. Otherwise, we're going to return, or I guess we'll just return center D.
We should give a stroke width and a stroke color before we forget to, because
I think that's what would let us see it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just start by just making it white. And I think we should make this, well, we could just set the opacity really low. I mean, that's, okay, so I don't see
Okay.
any lines, or there's like one up there. Oh,
Yeah.
the center though, we gotta project it.
Good
So our
remembering.
projection, really we could just put our projection outside of here. It's like
Yeah, in
always
its
gonna
own
do
cell.
that. Yeah, okay, and then that way when
Sick.
we center, where's our center function? We
Scroll
could
one, scroll one, scroll one.
do that.
Does that work? Does that...
It did not, oh, I think projection can return, no. So
So turn right?
like
No,
if
or...
the point is, oh, whoa, what the hell? That looks cool, but it's not.
I agree. Yeah, Hell on Earth is, I agree. Because I think what happened is it was uploaded to Google Sheets. And holy shit, look at that. That's pretty fucking awesome, dude.
We grew some crazy hair. So,
That's wild.
um, yeah. All right. So, what do we have here? This stuff's still gonna work. All right. So I probably messed up with this part. But projections, I think if something falls outside of the projection, you try to pass the lat long into it, it gives you back an empty thing. So the problem is I'm trying to do these X's and Y's, and I basically need to check if it has one, right? Like if the projection for that thing exists, draw it. Otherwise,
I don't understand why they're moving
should be,
vertically.
where's my wide suit? Oh, it's
It's
10
at the
also.
bottom.
It
Yeah,
should be,
that's what I was just looking at. There you
I'll probably make them.
go.
Whoa, that looks
That,
cool
that,
too.
that looks fucking awesome. Wait, I want dots for the
I
centroids.
guess. You what?
I want little dots for the centroids.
All right, let me fix the color though, because we can make.
I'm just gonna fix our scale.
Do this for the stroke. Oh, you fixed the scale?
I don't know about fixed, but I sure did change it.
Somehow the zeros, like most of these, well, I guess I could just like click on one. So it went up 2000, but that number, the diff extent is two. Oh, that's probably what it is. We still need to. Whoa, that looks sick. What did you do?
I just guessed.
Ah, yeah. Well, I
Also,
think what we can.
it's 11:04, so I have to. I did that for a reason, which is that we've made a beautiful map, and it's time to sign off. And do you want to do a quick little? Do you want to? You can tweak it a little. I don't mean to ruin your beautiful map, but do you want to figure out get to a place where we can do a little wrap up, 90-second thing?
Yes. One thing I'm gonna fix is that the initial one is gonna just be counting shapes. That's
Oh
not
yeah, Hell on Earth
fair.
is. Thank you so much for doing that. Like, super appreciate you sharing the Where Votes at Risk notebook. You definitely help make that connection, and we're definitely going to be doing more, at least for election stuff. Like I think, like I said before, like sharing of resources across people who do this is makes it better for everybody. So I'm definitely down for the collaboration.
100%. The only thing I want, like, so I was doing this stuff like filtering by Wisconsin, which is something that, definitely doesn't need to be done in overtime. But um, that crazy diff one, it, is less, if the diff is less than negative 500,000 or something, what are these places? And why is their diff so big?
The other way
Right,
to do
right.
this is to make two maps. One would be the increase map, and one would be the decrease map, where you only show lines. Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of confusing right now, which, for me, a little bit, like which way they're going. You know what I mean? Because I guess if they're green, they're always going right. And if they're white or purple, it's just hard to tell. The arrows help. That's why people make them out of arrows. I get it. I totally get it.
Well, there's Kings County and Queens County, and they both lost like 1 million voters between 2016, which, sorry, I disregarded what you said, but like I think those are these two crazy purple lines are.
Yeah, I think so too. And there's another crazy purple one from what looks like LA County.
Well, I think that's San Diego.
Oh, you think
So
that's San Diego? Okay, I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It is San Diego.
it's kind of, I'd like to change the fill opacity only so that I can still see the.
Ooh.
And then like if we just change, I know like the overtime stuff that's fun is this stuff. Where is it? So our little scale, right? Oh no, I didn't change the Y at all. But if we add the Y2 here, let me say like plus 20, right?
I love what you've done.
Well, I don't
I think
quite
you've
love it,
done
but
tremendous work. What a hairy, hairy United States that is.
it's funny because it's not at all what I was expecting it to do. I suppose I almost want it to be like the diff scale.
Yo, Mega Fiez, what's up? That is fucking dope. That's really cool. I'm into that one.
What did I do? What did I do?
It has like a
This
very curvy, because none of these lines are curved, but it looks like they are. You know what I
it's because
mean?
I set, yeah, I like got rid of the Y2. Like they're all going to 0, but they're also going to their.
Ooh, this one's weird. This one's like a meteor shower vibes.
Yeah, I want it to go up though, not down. So I'm gonna do minus. Why is it being so slow? Where's my computer? Just
That's wild.
yeah, it goes up and to the right, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, sort of. Oh, but when they go down and to the left. That's weird. I guess that one I want it to be an absolute value. It's a quick change. So for the Y, I'm just gonna say plus map.absolute of that.
This is awesome. It's actually kind of useful.
Wait, I want it to go minus the absolute value.
It's like you can kind of imagine it as like a 3D chart, like an isometric 3D chart.
Yeah. Well, it kind of trips you out, right? Because they cross each other.
All right, this is extraordinarily cool. In 90 seconds, can you summarize what we have done tonight, perchance? I'll even start if you want. I'll do the data part for the first half hour or first hour and a half. And you can look at what are you doing? How do you do?
I was bringing back the opacity to see if it. I wanted to try that last thing before we go, because if you do this too much, then you can't see the lines anymore.
Valid. If you make the county strokes black, it'll look a lot better too. Just saying. Just putting it out.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I was wrong. It's a little intense.
I mean, it did get a little better, but what if I just bring this back down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this more. One last thing. Okay, I promise I'm gonna let you do the
Jeez Louise.
the
I was gonna
stroke
smoke a
width.
cigarette. We can go to midnight.
No. Just want to mess with the stroke width, see what we. Oh, I think my computer is. I've had too many tabs open and made it unhappy.
It looks pretty sick.
Yeah, there's like it doesn't look like, it looks like it's aliased or something, but it's kind of fun. Change those line caps.
It's weird that white means reduction. Like, I wish we could cut off the white portion of this purple scale.
Yeah, I feel like, why doesn't it use a divergent scale? Or it wanted to balance it on both sides, I guess.
Megafia says they don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to catch our stream. Are we going to do a special European time stream soon? Is that in the cards?
I think it is. I think maybe next week we should do it. And like we could do it for us Sunday afternoon, right? Instead of evening.
Yeah, a little earlier in the day.
Well, wait. If we started, we started 3 hours ago. If we started 8 hours ago, that would put us at 1 o'clock our time, and that would be in the middle of the night still.
That's what I'm saying. I think we need to do either like an early morning or a late night stream.
Oh.
I think. If my understanding of time is correct.
Yeah. We're East Coast, yes.
Yeah.
Late night. Yeah.
Are you on strike against the 90-second show summary?
No,
You
I'm
don't
done.
ever want to do it again?
I was still thinking about time. Time's hard. No, let's do the 90-second recap of what we have done. Absolutely.
Okay. Do you wanna queue up your tabs all right, you're fucking all set to go.
I mean, I just like have my tabs open. We did quite a bit here, man.
We did a lot.
All right.
So you got Twitter video says you have 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So
Nice.
let's keep it quick. As the editor.
All right. So what we did tonight, we got into some county data sets. I've been pulling together a variety of different stuff because, EJ and Shirley, and I'm sure many other people are interested in visualizing the election and data around the election. And oftentimes the data around the election is per county, right? So the hope was that this notebook would make it easy for us to get stuff like census demographics and be able to pull that into visualizations. We looked at that the data that I had pulled, because it's a huge API. There's a ton of stuff to pull from. Um, and we got a simple map going where you could kind of dynamically look at a subset of counties. Once we had that proof of concept, we wanted to get it into a tool called Datasette, right? Which is like a really easy to use
It's
database,
so cool.
yeah, maker, and you can just one button push it to Heroku. We got that working in proof of concept with like a little, UI where you could filter to more or less counties in the by population, or let's say. But we ran into some performance issues, probably something with the deploying, and we wanted to play with some visualization, and so we got the files that we were individually going to combine into Dataset and make it really easy to query in a bunch of ways, and just grabbed a couple of those over in this notebook, and those we then played with. We got voter registration data, EVES, and we looked at it by county from 2016 to 2018. And first we colored the counties. More green means like more people were registered, and more purple means fewer people were registered. And we see there's a couple crazy like New York counties and San Diego County, I think, that have
With huge
big
lines.
differences. Yeah, and then we wanted to play with rendering it as lines, and we messed around with that for a little bit and got something that's kind of interesting. And
I
there
think
we
it turned
are.
out super dope. Like, I think the line idea, because you can sort of imagine it as like an isometric map where the
Yeah,
lines are sticking out in 3D space from the center, which it just looks really cool.
yeah, and this was inspired by the sort of shift map, like the New York Times, where like people changed who they voted for per county, right? And they did little
Right.
arrows. But that that way of showing differences, and there's all kinds of ways to use colors to show the difference between 2 years of data, as Mike goes over in this notebook. So we wanted to try visually encoding that with the shape, the line in this case.
And hopefully we set up, like, I think we encountered, like, the FIPS code stuff. Like, we encountered a few things that we can pass on to Shirley to hopefully make her stream go a little bit easier. Or anybody else who's working with this election data, which makes me happy.
Right, right. Yeah, it's definitely a great starting point, I think, for, we're talking about spending a lot of this month focusing on visualizing the election, and there's a lot more to visualize. So hopefully it's a little easier with these.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Blue Radar, Megafias, everybody, Hell on Earth is, everybody hanging out in the chat. We super appreciate you. It makes it worthwhile coming back and doing this stuff. So thank you for hanging out and
Absolutely.
asking questions and contributing and forking and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna come back tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Um, and so it's gonna be tomorrow evening again. I, and then yeah, Shirley, check out Shirley's stream, I think on Tuesday this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, where she's going to be exploring voter, I think this Eve's data from different angles. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. And yeah,
Awesome.
great.
Cool.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Good.
Have a great
Yeah.
night.
Later.